Single transferable vote, also known as STV, is one of the most well-known proportionally representative voting systems. A proportionally representative voting system is one where multiple candidates are elected per district, and the proportion of those candidates' parties is roughly the same as the proportion of the voters' parties. As covered in the IRV video, STV was independently discovered many times and does not appear to have a motivation other than build a better voting system. Here is how an STV election works. When a voter arrives at the polling station, they receive a ballot that looks like this. The voter gives each candidate a ranking by filling in the bubble corresponding to both the candidate in question and the rank being given to that candidate. Only one bubble per candidate and one bubble per rank should be filled in. If no bubble is filled in for a given candidate, it is treated as the worst rank. Note that this looks and works just like an IRV ballot. This is a common occurrence. There are many voting systems, but only a few ballot types, so many systems share a ballot. After all the ballots have been cast, it is time for tabulation. First, a magic number called the quota is determined. The quota is the number of ballots a candidate must receive in order to be elected. In order to increase the resistance to strategic voting, the quota is not the total number of ballots divided by the number of seats. Rather, it is the smallest number of ballots, such that only the number of seats to be filled can be filled. This is approximately equal to the total number of ballots divided by the number of seats plus 1. In short, if there are 3 seats available, a candidate does not need 33% of the ballots, they only need 25% plus 1 of the ballots. For 4 candidates, it is 20% plus 1, and for 5 candidates, it is around 16.67% plus 1. For 1 candidate, it would be 50% plus 1 of the total ballots, which is the threshold used in IRV. In fact, IRV is the special case of STV with 1 seat up for election. Once the quota is determined, the ballot counting commences. Each ballot is assigned to its first ranked candidate. Then, the following 3 steps are run until all seats are filled. Step 1. If any candidate has as many ballots as the quota requires, that candidate is elected. If they received more votes than the quota, these surplus votes are transferred to the next highest ranked candidate. Step 2. If the number of candidates remaining is equal to the number of seats remaining, elect all remaining candidates. These candidates might not have reached the quota due to a phenomenon known as ballot exhaustion. Step 3. Otherwise, eliminate the candidate with the least number of votes and transfer their ballots to the next highest ranked candidate. Transferring surplus votes may seem unusual, but like the quota, it is done to remove some strategic voting incentives. The ballots transferred may be random, or they may be transferred by something called fractional surplus handling, or FSH. The exact details of FSH do not matter. All that matters is that it considers everyone's vote while making sure that the power of each ballot remains the same. Step 2 is required due to the possibility of ballot exhaustion. This is covered in the IRV video, but in short, it can occur if a voter does not rank every candidate, but it can also occur if the implementation of STV restricts the number of allowed ranks. The first type of ballot exhaustion is acceptable, but the second type leads to poor results. If your city, state, or country uses IRV or STV and does not let you fill out a rank for every candidate, write to your representative and let them know about this flaw. Let's see an example. Suppose 100 people are voting for the 3 best shapes. The ballots come in and they look like this. As 100 ballots were submitted, the quota is 100 divided by 4 plus 1, so 26 votes. 3 people gave this ballot, 8 people gave this ballot, and so on. As such, we assign votes like so. As the line has the fewest votes, the line is eliminated, and its votes are transferred. As no shape has reached the quota of 26 votes, the process continues. Next, the circle is eliminated. When the circle's votes are transferred, the hexagon now has more votes than the quota requires. As such, the hexagon is elected. 26 votes are removed, and 1 vote is transferred to the pentagon. Next, the isosceles triangle is eliminated, and its votes are transferred to the equilateral triangle. The equilateral triangle is then elected, 26 votes are removed, and the remaining 5 votes are transferred to the 3-4-5 triangle. Next, the square is eliminated, its votes transfer, and finally the pentagon is elected. As such, the 3 shapes elected are the hexagon, the equilateral triangle, and the pentagon. Single transferable vote is an ordinal voting system that uses ranked ballots. It is a majoritarian system that passes the majority criterion. It does not pass the monotonicity or participation criteria. It is a proportionally representative voting system.